unfortunate, and we can only control what we can control. But yeah, I don't want to speak for anyone in particular, and yeah, a lot of walkthroughs, a lot of meetings you got to be really tuned into, and then I think just you look at all the work from beginning of OTAs and rookie minicamp to now. I think that's all installation that you can really pride yourself on, and the reps built up. I'm focused on doing. It's just part of it. There's entertainers and there's competitors, and I totally understand that. And my job is to compete, and that's what I'm focused on doing.
Dillon Gabriel is under fire once again, and this time things are getting really heated. The quarterback, who's all pumped up for his first start in the NFL, is throwing some serious shade at Shedeur Sanders. Gabriel recently took to social media to call out Sanders, claiming that he doesn't care about the things others say on his behalf and that he's more of a team-oriented player. This all started after Shedeur Sanders did a mime interview in response to Rex Ryan and others who criticized him for not working hard. While Sanders was simply reacting to the negative comments, Gabriel couldn't resist taking a jab, suggesting that Sanders isn't as focused on the team as he claims to be. Now the situation is escalating fast. What's really going on between these two? Let's dive in and break it down.
Been through weeks of prep, and a bunch of them, if you go back, but you just continue to attack it with your process and how you want to accomplish that. But I think it's us coming together, like I said, not to be cliche or keep saying the same thing, but we have to come together and create momentum for each other so that.
Dillon Gabriel didn't hold back. He continued to share his mindset and approach, emphasizing that his focus and mentality set him apart from others. He made it clear that there's no need for the typical cliches, which seemed to be another subtle jab at Shedeur Sanders. Gabriel's message was that success should never be about individual glory. Instead, he stressed that true greatness is about putting the team's goals first, again, an indirect shot at Shedeur. Let's face it, no one's really going to come down hard on Dillon for these comments, simply because he's not Shedeur Sanders. If Shedeur had said something similar, the backlash would have been immediate and intense. The media and fans would have gone in hard, causing a massive uproar. Dillon, however, is making these statements without much controversy, flying under the radar. It's evident that if Shedeur had made the same remarks, the reaction would have been drastically different, highlighting the double standard in how both players are treated. This isn't Dillon's first time calling out Shedeur. Earlier in the preseason, Dillon took shots at Shedeur, even labeling him as more of an entertainer than a genuine athlete. But despite the criticism, Dillon didn't face the same level of media scrutiny that Shedeur would have. Dillon's public trash talk went mostly unnoticed, with little to no backlash, while Shedeur would have been relentlessly questioned and criticized for similar comments. This stark contrast raises the question, why is there such a double standard when it comes to how these two are treated? Let's break down what Dillon actually said.
I'm focused on doing. It's just part of it. There's entertainers and there's competitors, and I totally understand that, and my job is to compete, and that's what I'm focused on doing.
It was clear that Dillon Gabriel was aiming a direct jab at Shedeur Sanders, referring to him as more of an entertainer than a true football player. But once the media caught on, the story quickly shifted. People began rushing to Gabriel's defense, claiming that his words weren't aimed at Shedeur. Colin Cowherd, for instance, took to the airwaves, suggesting that Gabriel wasn't targeting Shedeur directly, but instead calling out the media. This defense felt a bit off considering how obvious the shot at Shedeur was. Yet almost instantly, the narrative flipped and Gabriel's comments were reinterpreted as a critique of the media rather than a personal dig at Shedeur.
That was not a shot at Shedeur Sanders. Shame on everybody that said it was. Do not. You're hurting Shedeur. You're turning a non-circus into a circus. When he said that, he was taking a shot at us.
Once again, Dillon Gabriel made his remarks, and surprisingly, no one really seemed to take notice or call him out for what he was implying. But if Shedeur Sanders had said something similar, it would have sparked an all-out controversy. The backlash against Shedeur would have been massive, with everyone criticizing him and turning it into a major story. It's clear that the reactions differ drastically depending on who's speaking, highlighting the glaring double standard in play. And it's not just talk. Recently, Shedeur Sanders made waves by boldly stating that he believes he's better than some current NFL quarterbacks. Unsurprisingly, this didn't sit well with many people, and the backlash came fast. Critics were quick to call out his audacity for making such a claim. However, Shedeur wasn't just talking himself up. He's been vocal about his hard work and patience, but there's also a growing frustration. He feels he's earned the right to be a starting quarterback in the league, yet continues to be overlooked.
Enjoy my moments, but overall, this isn't my end goal. You know, like I'm just enjoying myself, learning, doing everything I have to do, and just ready for my opportunity.
Then came Rex Ryan, who didn't hold back in criticizing Shedeur Sanders. Rex took a very direct approach, going after Shedeur in a recent interview with some strong remarks. He made several bold claims, suggesting that Shedeur wasn't putting in the necessary work to be considered for a starting quarterback position. What really stood out was the tone Rex used. It wasn't constructive or friendly, but rather harsh and confrontational, clearly intended to provoke. This wasn't just a mild critique, it felt more like a direct assault, adding more fuel to the already heated controversy surrounding Shedeur. When Shedeur Sanders indirectly called out journalists like Rex Ryan, Dillon Gabriel took it personally. Gabriel came forward, stating that he's a team player and not someone seeking personal redemption, clearly taking a shot at Shedeur. He implied that Shedeur's actions were aimed at him, despite Gabriel himself taking jabs at Shedeur earlier and justifying it as a critique of the media. Now, when Shedeur responds in a similar way, using the media as a platform, Dillon is once again taking shots at him. This double standard doesn't seem fair, especially given that Gabriel himself has done the exact same thing.
And we can only control what we can control, but yeah, I don't want to speak for anyone in particular, and, you know.
As things stand, the rivalry between Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel has evolved into more than just a competition on the field. It's now a battle that's spilling over into the public eye. What started as a few jabs and criticisms has grown into a full-blown feud, with both players taking aim at each other through words, while also knowing they'll eventually face off on the field. The media and fans have amplified every exchange, turning this into a high-stakes situation for both quarterbacks. For Dillon Gabriel, it's clear that he sees himself as a team-first player, someone who isn't concerned with personal recognition. Yet, his repeated shots at Shedeur, whether veiled or direct, suggest otherwise. Gabriel's frustration with Shedeur's rise is apparent, as he critiques what he perceives as self-promotion, even though he is engaged in similar acts himself. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders has made it known that he feels slighted, believing he has earned the right to be seen as one of the best. He's frustrated with the lack of recognition and feels the constant criticism only pushes him further to prove his doubters wrong. Now, both players are gearing up for what could be an explosive showdown. Whether it's through direct on-field competition or indirect verbal sparring, they're both waiting for their chance to silence the other. For Gabriel, it's about proving he's the better, more focused player who prioritizes the team. For Shedeur, it's about proving his doubters wrong and showing that he belongs at the top. As this battle intensifies, it's clear that the tension between them will only continue to build until they finally meet head-to-head, each eager to shut the other up once and for all. What do you think about this growing rivalry between Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel? Do you believe Gabriel is justified in calling out Shedeur? Or is he just throwing shade to distract from his own ambitions? How do you feel about the double standards and how both players are treated by the media? Do you think Shedeur's confidence is warranted, or is he being too outspoken for someone still trying to prove himself in the league? And when they eventually face off, who do you think will come out on top? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective on this heated battle.